Hello there. We will shortly begin this broadcast without the need for the synonymous silly mask, which is merely for the purposes of catching the visual attention of people to ensure they realise that we are indeed live right now for Hypnosis Week, Week 6, with me, Jonathan Royle, aka Alex William Smith. Good evening to you. Now, this is an hour later than normal. We normally broadcast at 9 o'clock in the evening British time, but this week, as I mentioned in the video earlier today, it's had to be 10 o'clock because I was at a family event. So thank you for those of you who are joining us. Thank you to everyone who shared the videos earlier in the day and entered the competition. The winners of the competition to gain entry to the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp will be announced in approximately 30 minutes time, live here on my profile. I've seen notices come up on my computer saying people are watching in groups and stuff of mine and pages, and indeed this video will show up in my groups and on my pages and whatnot. But the only place where I'll be able to see actual comments live, I'll get notified about them, but I can only be on one page at once, as you understand, on the laptop, will be on my actual Facebook profile, facebook.com/Alex the Hypnotist, which is AlexThehypnotist. Facebook.com/Alex the Hypnotist. Yes, it is here for those who are just asking that. So we're going to get started in a minute. We're just giving people a little bit more time. My profile says I've got 12 people on. My group says there's 20 odd people over there. One of my pages says 12 there. It'd be great if you're all in the same place, but it doesn't matter because obviously we'll be able to see this. If you're joining us a little bit late, worry not. We will put the video onto YouTube after we've finished. So as a brief reminder, on week 1 of Hypnosis Week, and you can get all the videos by going on youtube.com and just typing in Hypnosis Week 1, which was the reasons why hypnosis does not exist. Hypnosis Week 2, if you search that on YouTube, Hypnosis Week 2 was suggestibility test and whatnot. Hypnosis Week 3 was a refresher and hints and tips and tricks on different areas. Hypnosis Week 4 was a 2-part session on media brainwashing, social engineering and real sort of mind control secrets. Hypnosis Week 5 last week was turning suggestibility test into induction techniques, and also induction techniques, how they work and why they work. And this is Hypnosis Week number 6, Hypnosis Week 6, Hypnotherapy, psychological treatment, tricks and techniques. That's what we're going to be talking about very, very shortly. But before we do, let me tell you that in about half an hour I will be announcing the winners. Yes, I said winners, not winner, of the competition I ran today. Because I decided in the end that actually I'm going to pick 3 people, not 1 as I announced earlier in the day. So actually the 3 of the people who today shared the video and commented. If you commented but didn't share, you didn't get entered. If you shared and didn't comment, sorry, you didn't get entered. If you did what the video asked and shared and commented, then you're in with a chance of being one of the names that will actually possibly be the names I announce that I've selected at random. Well, I didn't. I got my daughter to select them, that are on this piece of paper, which I'll announce in about half an hour. But before then, this week's, which is Hypnosis Week 6, we're going to talk about hypnotherapy, psychological treatment techniques. The Hypnosis Week product of the week has gone live at hypnosisweek.co.uk, which is a massive discount off our What the Fuck Do You Know About Hypnosis video training set, which comprises almost 12 hours of training videos So what I would suggest is you wait until 10:30 and see if you're one of the lucky winners of today's competition. If you are, then you'll be getting everything I've ever released anyway, and there's no need to buy that. If you're not one of the lucky 3, then either go to hypnosisweek.co.uk and within the next week, because then the offer will end, grab this for less than $30. It's about £22 sterling, 12 hours of direct, to the point, no bullshit, hypnotherapy training that will blow out of the water all the other bullshit you've learnt elsewhere. It will tell you how to be actually truly successful. So let's give you a couple example tricks before we announce the winner of the, well, winners of the competition. Okay, firstly, here's a little thought for you. With smoking cessation, a lot of times in the past, what I've done is prove to people, as I spoke about before, if you can suggest something to them, they visualise it, and then they experience it as their genuine reality, then their mind can choose to stop questioning it, and the critical faculty or analytical area of the mind can shut down. You get direct access to the unconscious, subconscious mind, and any suggestions you give for their benefit are wholeheartedly accepted, take root, and become super strong, and can wipe out all the negative programming or addiction conditioned response that was there when they came to see you. Now, in relation to smoking cigarettes, for example, one technique I've used in the past is, if you go on the internet and you search for cigarette tubes, okay, empty cigarette tubes and rolling machines, okay, or cigarette tube filling machines. In fact, what I'm going to do is, I've got in my office such things, but it's that long ago I bought them, I don't totally remember what the general term is. So I'm typing in now, cigarette rolling machine, and I'm just going to find cigarette tube filler, actually. Cigarette tube filler. Here, yes. They are called cigarette tube filling machines, okay? And with them, you then buy empty cigarette tubes. They basically are an empty tube that looks like a normal size cigarette, and they also do them king size, that you put tobacco in this little machine, the cigarette tube filling machine. You put the empty tube thing in, close it, it opens, and it flicks out what looks like a normal cigarette, except people tend to put normal rolling tobacco in. Except for this trick, what you do is you go to a tobacconist and you ask him for the most strongest, horrible pipe tobacco that he sells, and you get 2 or 3 different brands of this, and you mix a bit of each of the 2 or 3 different brands together, and you fill up your cigarette tubes. So you've got some normal size looking cigarettes and some king size looking cigarettes at the end that people think are cigarettes, but in truth have got pipe tobacco in. 4 different brands at that, and believe me, that's not pleasant to smoke, especially when there are 4 brands mixed together into one tube and the person thinks that it's a Benson and Hedges or a Marlboro or whatever brand of cigarettes it is that they're used to smoking. Now, the way to utilise this is to get them to show up for their session and to get them to give you all their cigarettes, lighters, ashtrays and stuff right at the beginning as their commitment that they're saying goodbye to the past and leaving it completely behind. So they give you all their paraphernalia to be put in the bin. You then do some kind of imagination exercise with them, perhaps the eye locking test that we spoke about on week 2, Hypnosis week 2, which you can find on YouTube. While their eyes are closed, you get their cigarette packet from the bin, you open it, you remove a couple of the cigarettes near the front, and you replace them with some of your magic cigarettes that you've made up of the correct size. That's why you have some ready-made in your drawer that are normal cigarette size and some that are king size. You put a couple of them in, close the box, and put it back on top of the bin like it was before. So they're not aware of this because their eyes are closed. You do your little experiment, you get them to open their eyes and you go, wow, that's brilliant. You managed to use your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration so effectively that you were unable to open your eyes. And just so long as you use your powers of mind in the same way with the next things that we do, then you can leave here today as the confident, happy, healthy, relaxed non-smoker that you have actually already started to become and will continue to be with the greatest of ease when you leave here. In fact, let's just check that you're in the right state of mind for this to work. Let's go outside. But before we do, can you just get your cigarettes back out of the bin? They pick them up out of the bin, okay? You say, but keep them closed. You go outside the building now because smoking's not allowed inside and you won't want them to smoke in your office anyway. You go outside and you say, just keep hold of your cigarettes a minute, close your eyes down and you go through, you don't even need to do a real induction if you don't want to. You could do, but you don't have to because the trick is powerful enough anyway. You get them to visualise in the mind's eye the idea that if they were ever to try and smoke a cigarette in the future by placing it to the lips, the moment they inhaled on it, in their mind's eye, it's almost as if they will be able to taste donkey shit running down their throat. And in fact, in the mind's eye, you say, just imagine being in a Wild West bar and seeing the spittoons on the floor where the cowboys would spit into. And then imagine that those spittoons have been taken to the farm, okay, to a bull farm, and the farmer, it's got the stud bull and he's wanking off the stud bull till it ejaculates, till it spunks into the spittoon with the cowboy's spit. And then this is taken along to the hairdressers, and all the day's hair is swept up from the floor, poured into the spittoon and mixed together with all that saliva and spit from all the different cowboys and with all the bull spunk, and just to finish it off, it's topped with a bit of donkey shit. And that's stuffed into a cigarette, and every time they try to smoke a cigarette in their mind's eye, they realise now they use their powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively, that it will taste to them as though the donkey shit, the spunk, the hair, the spittoon contents are running down the throat, almost though it makes them feel as though they want to be physically sick, but they will not be physically sick because they will just butt the cigarette out, never touch one again, and be able to say to themselves, no thanks, from this moment forward, I'm a confident, happy, healthy, relaxed non-smoker. Nod yet if you understand. They nod their head saying that they visualised it, and then you say, on the count of 3, you'll open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, wakey, wakey, rise and shine. They open their eyes, and you say, can I just borrow your cigarettes a minute? You take the box off them, open it, and you just pull out 2 as though you're just pulling out 2 slightly at random. But obviously it's the 2 that are the special cigarettes. It's the 2 that you've made with your cigarette tube filling machine and filled with 4 different types of incredibly strong pipe tobacco. So you're apparently giving them a free choice of 2 of their cigarettes, and they know it's their cigarettes because it's the ones they put in the bin, but you're now outside your office. So they take one. They've no reason to think it's anything other than one of their cigarettes. They put it to their lips. You light it for them and say, just try to smoke that. Prove to yourself that your intelligence, imagination and concentration is working effectively for you. They will inhale upon it. Aside from the fact that this is so recently from being given the visual suggestion and visualisation exercise of thinking of a spittoon full of the cowboy's spit, combined with the bull spunk from the farm, combined with all the hair cuttings from the hairdressers, topped with donkey shit, and imagining that all mixed together is in that cigarette running down their throat, that will ripple up pulse them, aversion therapy wise. But more beautifully is the fact that it will taste absolutely bloody disgusting, because it's not really one of their cigarettes. It's come out of their cigarette box, but while their eyes were closed for the eye closure in the office before you went outside, you switched a couple of them for these fake cigarettes that you'd made using the cigarette tube filling machine and stuffed with an equal share of 4 different very strong pipe tobaccos, which will feel absolutely horrible. So they will experience in reality you having suggested something to them with the eye closure of imagining their eyes gluing together and then them being unable to open them, which if you use the techniques I taught you on Hypnosis Week 2, which you can find the video on YouTube by searching Hypnosis Week 2 suggestion test, okay, they're guaranteed to not be able to open their eyes because it's a physical trick you will have used. And then they will come to realise, you know what, I couldn't open my eyes, hypnotist suggested it to me, I imagined it, it became reality. And then following that, you've suggested to them to imagine these things like the spittoon, the cowboy saliva in it, the bull spunk, the hair from the hairdressers, the donkey shit on top mixed together being what a cigarette would taste like to them. And then they put a cigarette from their own cigarette packet to their lips, inhale on it, and it genuinely tastes like crap. Because 4 different lots of incredibly strong pipe tobacco will taste nothing like the cigarettes they're used to smoking, and they will feel physically sick. They won't be low because you've already put the suggestion in that they won't. I have had it happen on one occasion where somebody was, but it's fine. You're outside your office. You've gone outside. So, you know, it's not too much of a problem. And if you're wise, you've took them to somewhere near a grid anyway where it's easy if something like that was to occur. But generally it won't. They'll just immediately butt the cigarette out and go and want a drink, because then in their head they will be saying to themselves, he suggested to me those things, I visualised them, it became 100% total reality. And they will have genuinely, again, just as their eyes locked and they couldn't open them, they will have experienced the idea that them visualising those things became reality, excuse me, and that they could not smoke that cigarette. At which point you say, well done, that proves to me that you're using your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively. That means that you will leave here today a confident, happy, healthy, relaxed non-smoker. Shall we go back inside and finish the job off? They obviously will say, yeah, let's go back inside and finish off the session. But they are now at a point psychologically where they truly are convinced that what you're going to suggest to them during the hypnotherapy session will work for them, because why should they think anything else? Because they've arrived at the session and you, for example, maybe locked their hands together so they couldn't separate them, which was on Hypnosis Week 2. You can see the video on YouTube by searching Hypnosis Week 2. It's guaranteed to work and it's a physiological trick that makes it impossible for them to separate their hands. But you present it in a manner whereby they come to believe that you suggested things to them, they imagined it, and it became a physical reality for them. So that starts to close down the critical faculty of the analytical area of the brain. But we follow that up with locking their eyelids together. But we use the physiological, guaranteed to work every time trick we taught on Hypnosis Week 2, which means they will not be able to open their eyes if they do as you say. Which means they will again go, hypnotist suggested things to me, I visualised them, they became physical, tangible, genuine, unquestionable reality. At this point their conscious mind goes, you know what? No point questioning this anymore. The hypnotist says stuff to me. As long as I visualise it, it becomes genuine reality for me. At which point the critical faculty or analytical area closes down. But just in case, because, you know, psychologists talk about the power of 3 and that's only 2, the third one with smoking will be to take them outside, get them to visualise the cowboys spitting in the spittoon, and then the bull spunk being added to that, and then all the cuttings from a day's work at the hairdressers being swept into it, and it being topped up with donkey shit mixed together and then put into a cigarette, and they inhale on that, and the moment they do, they feel the donkey shit and the spunk and the spit running down the throat, and it's really horrible, but they're not really physically sick, but it does tell them they never want to touch a cigarette again. And they will go, you know what, because you give them one of your fake cigarettes that you've used a cigarette tube filling machine and empty cigarette tubes, and you filled with 4 different types of strong pipe tobacco and then put into their cigarette packet while their eyes were closed, so they think that it's their cigarette, so when they inhale on it and it goes, which it will, they go, third time! Stuff's been suggested to me, I imagined it, it became a physical, tangible, undeniable reality, at which point critical faculty, analytical area of the brain has closed down, and arguably you're straight into the unconscious mind, subconscious mind, call it what you will. Some people will call that basically hypnosis, putting them into trance. If you want to believe in that model, fine. I prefer to believe in the model where hypnosis does not exist and it's just psychological manipulation, as I explain in Hypnosis Week 1, which again is on YouTube, Hypnosis Week 1, hypnosis does not exist, for those of you who may not have seen that. So that is my major trick before going into my complete mind therapy session for smoking cessation. and it works absolutely wonderfully. And I know from the feedback I've had from students of mine around the world that it works fantastically well. And if you joined us partway through this video, as I see people keep joining on my different groups and pages, bear with us, because in about 15 minutes we'll be announcing the winners of today's competition. But before that, we've covered smoking there. I want to give you a top tip for weight loss. You see, I believe hypnosis is largely a placebo effect, and that we go through an important seeming ritualistic process that the individual, the client, can attach a sense of importance to and belief, especially when they're paying a lot of money for it. But also it's removing from them all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret for not having changed their life sooner. Because when they leave you having spent money and gone through this session, they can say to their family and friends, you know, the reason I couldn't stop before is because I didn't have enough willpower, or whatever bullshit they come out with. Because the truth is, you stop smoking by putting one out and not buying any more. Simple as that. But if they were to admit that to the family and friends, the family or friends could turn around and say, well, why didn't you do it last week then, or last month, or last year? So they could feel guilty about that, a sense of shame, regret or guilt. By going to see a therapist, going through an important seeming ritual, paying some money so it has a sense of importance to them, it removes all blame, shame, guilt and regret from them, so they can walk away after being in an environment where you've given them permission to change and an excuse to change, and say to the friends and family, wow, I'm now a non-smoker. And when the friends say, why didn't you do it sooner? They can say, well, I hadn't seen the therapist then. I wish I had years ago. So it stops them getting any grief or stress. That's kind of what I believe it is. The placebo, anyway, nonetheless, is definitely a powerful, powerful force. It's a good thing. It's been proven that, you know, the placebo often works as well, if not better, than conventional medicine. With that in mind, you can purchase, and I'm just going to double check this for myself on Google. You certainly could a few years ago. I've got a massive supply of these things. What I'm just typing in here is, yeah, you can. You can buy empty pill bottles, okay, that you get tablets in. You can buy empty ones with the child safety lid or without. And, you know, all they do at chemists is print something out from a printer and then stick it on. Well, you can buy self-adhesive labels on eBay, and you can get a word processing program that basically can have the client's name and can say can say one tablet to be taken 3 times a day before meals, for example, it could be. And obviously you would check that your client is not diabetic, because giving them something with sugar in could obviously be dangerous. But you can get sugar-free options for this. But in the past, I've actually bought kind of 30 Tic Tacs in a pill bottle with the labels saying, take one 3 times a day before meals for 10 days, which is the 30. And I've given people the impression, without directly saying it, because to say it would be fraud, and you should not commit fraud. I'm not encouraging anyone to do this. I'm saying this for entertainment and educational purposes only, okay? Don't do this, because in some countries it could be deemed as possibly illegal, and I won't want to encourage anyone to do that. Obviously, I'm just saying this for entertainment purposes of how the placebo effect could work very well indeed. So if the client at the end of their session, where they had been led to believe that sugary and fatty foods no longer appeal to them and they go for healthier stuff and all that, was given a pill bottle with their name on, and it said one pill to be taken 3 times a day before meals for the next 10 days. And when they ask the question, what are they? You just say they're completely safe, because you've obviously checked they're not diabetic in this example. They're completely safe. They will just help you to avoid those things you need to avoid and help your body to metabolize better. Which of course is complete and utter bollocks, but it's an incredibly powerful suggestion. And it gives them something physical to visually believe in that has a conditioned response. The conditioned response being they already believe that tablets that have some kind of effect come in a bottle and come with the typewritten label on that's stuck on with their name and telling them when, and it gives them a ritual of doing something 3 times a day, which focuses their mind on the idea that they will avoid the negative stuff and focus on the stuff that's good for them. Which, when that's combined with also telling them to listen to the audio CD once a day for the next 30 days after attending the live session, gives them enough of a mind distraction to help them stay on the behaviour that's good for them, that will ensure that they eat the right things and do more exercise. Because there's only 2 ways to, well, there's only one way to lose weight, and that's burn off more calories than you're putting in. Simple as that. So you've got to reduce calories and increase burning off calories, exercise. All right, there may be health issues sometimes where people have got water retention and they need, you know, tablets from the doctor, the medical GP to get rid of water, and there can be medical issues. But when there's not a medical reason behind it and it's just that basically they're not doing enough exercise or they're eating too much or a combination of the two, then it's just about getting them to be more active and avoiding the bad stuff. And also, Paul McKenna hit the nail on the head in his book, although it wasn't original to him. I Can Make You Thin. Most of the techniques in there, the ones that truly powerfully work, are in a book called, I'm just searching, can I never remember the author's name. It's called Diets Don't Work. The book, let me just look on Amazon. I'm sorry, as I was out for the evening, I didn't have time to get this ready for you. Diets Don't Work is the name of the book, and it's by an author, I believe that's the one. Just let me check that that's the right bloody book. That's an edition from 2002, which, oh, that was a new expanded edition, okay. I was going to say, because it was published in the 80s, the book I'm on about, but it's by a Dr. Bob Schwartz, his second name being spelled S-C-H-W-A-R-T-Z. Read that book. It is the book you want to read if you want to help your clients with weight loss hypnotherapy. But, you know, a couple of the techniques that are in Paul McKenna's book that are also in Diets Don't Work and similar books is to tell the client, well, they're hypnotised or awake, it doesn't really matter, to get a smaller plate. Get rid of any big plates and get a smaller plate to serve their food on. This encourages them to have a smaller portion. To encourage them to get a mouthful of food and then put down their knife and fork. Well, they then chew their food at least 15 to 20 times before they swallow it. They then have to pick up their knife and fork again, cut a bit more, put it in their mouth, put down the knife and fork and chew 15 to 20 times. This helps them recognise their body signals, because your next instruction is to tell them that the moment they feel as though they're satisfied, not bloated, not overly full, but just like, you know what, I could stop eating now. This is a signal most people with weight issues have got to the point of missing, because they eat too quickly and the body, that signal comes, but they're eating at the time and they miss it. But by putting the knife and fork down, chewing 10 or 15 times, then cutting a bit more, getting it in the mouth, chewing 10 or 15 times. When that signal occurs, they will notice it and they're encouraged to stop eating then and get rid of whatever food's left. Okay, a lot of people have this inbuilt thing because mum or dad, when they were young, said, don't waste food. People in third world countries are dying. Well, you know what? Send them the food. It'll be rotten by the time it gets there. So that's not going to help. You've got to concentrate on the harsh reality. By slowing down the eating process, you will start to recognise that signal, and therefore then you can stop eating, and you'll be at a level where your body has told you that's right. And you'll find then that if you do your normal exercise, walk to places where you can rather than using the car, that you will burn off more calories than you're putting in. Thus you will lose weight, because that's the only way to do it, unless there's a medical issue there, of course. So these are things to consider. You can also tell your weight loss clients, which is very useful, unless they've got water retention, then that could be an issue. But, you know, with weight things, often you will want them to continue consulting with a proper medical GP. If in doubt, ensure that they are, and ensure that they sign to say they are, so that you're covering yourself from a legal, health and safety, moralistic and all other points of view. But tell them that when they feel hungry, rather than immediately going and reaching for a snack, or even if it was a healthy snack, get a glass of water and have a little glass of water. Because quite often people confuse thirst for hunger. And you can often find if they have a bit of water, within a couple of minutes, what they thought was them being hungry has disappeared and they don't feel the need for a snack. But if they then do need a snack, encourage them to have things like carrot sticks, or if they don't like carrots, have celery, which ironically has been shown that chewing that can burn off more calories than what you take in eating it. But in terms of the rest of the time, tell them to eat whatever they want, whenever they want, as long as they use a knife and fork, cut up a bit, put it in their mouth, a small mouthful, then put down the knife and fork, chew 10 to 15 times, swallow it, then do it again, so that they get used to recognising the signal that they're satisfied, so that they then stop at that point. Tell them that they can eat again later in the day the moment they feel them, and they should be encouraged to, because that's the other problem. People mess up their metabolisms by not eating little and regular. You know, it should be breakfast, dinner and tea. It's to get your metabolism going. Otherwise it slows down, and a slow metabolism promotes weight gain, keeping it where it is rather than losing it. So these are little tricks you can use. With your smokers, going back to the smokers, by the way, another thing is you can tell the client that if they ever do get a craving for nicotine in any manner, what they should do is get a little shot glass of pure orange juice or pineapple juice and neck it in one, assuming they have no allergies to such things. Neck it in one, and that vitamin C will give a kick to the body, and it'll be like, woo! And it's a similar kick to getting a hit of nicotine. So during the first 28 days of being a non-smoker, while they get used to the habit and pleasurable condition response of being a non-smoker, sometimes a little orange juice kick can be helpful to them, as can be telling them to perhaps take 3 nice, quick, rapid, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, kind of like... because that gives a load of oxygen shot to the brain and out, and it gives a little slight lightheadedness, which feels a little bit like when they've had a cigarette after a long time without having had one. So they can get that kind of lightheaded feeling, which stops them from wanting the real nicotine, which makes it easier to go the 28-day period listening to the audio CD and becoming and continuing to be a confident, happy, healthy, relaxed non-smoker. So hello to the people who are joining me, not on this profile, but on my hypnosis groups and Facebook pages. It's clicking up on my laptop that's here, that's why I keep looking over there. So hello to everyone on all the different pages and groups. If you only just joined us, then you're just in capital time, because in 5 minutes I will be announcing the winners of today's competition, which was to win over $5,000 of hypnosis, hypnotherapy, NLP and related mind sciences training, essentially free membership to my elite hypnosis bootcamp that will give you everything that's currently available. So if you don't win, don't worry. For the next 48 hours, there's a 90% discount on it. So instead of paying $5,000, you'd pay just $497, which is about £340 sterling. And the full details of that are at www.hypnotismexposed.co.uk. That's www.hypnotismexposed.co.uk. One final time, that's hypnotismexposed.co.uk, where for the next 48 hours you can get a massive over 90% discount off the complete Success Business in a Box. There's marketing plans in there, marketing videos, ready-made websites, products with resale rights, everything you need to know about every area of the industry. It's kind of like a franchise without any franchise fees. It's there's no weekly fees, there's no other courses, there's no other money to be taken off you. One investment, and you'll earn that back in 1 or 2 hypnotherapy sessions, because we show you exactly how to earn £500 sterling for a 60 to 90 minute therapy session, which, as you'll see, is what I charge. Look at my website, magicalguru.com, and if you're in any doubt, look at the testimonials from my past students that you can see on hypnotismexposed.co.uk. So we've given you some tips for smokers, we've given you some tips for weight loss. I'm now going to give you a tip before we announce the winners of the competition that works for every single area. But before I do, let me remind you that if you didn't see week 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of Hypnosis Week, because this is week 6 on Sunday the 31st of July 2016, then I'd encourage you to go on YouTube at some point and type in Hypnosis Week 1 for the video called Hypnosis Does Not Exist. But if you search Hypnosis Week 1, you'll find it and it'll explain to you how and why hypnosis truly works. Then Hypnosis Week 2 will explain to you guaranteed to work physical and physiological suggestibility exercises to convince the clients that when you say things and they visualise them, it becomes their reality. Hypnosis Week 3 is hints, tips and tricks for different areas of hypnosis. Hypnosis Week 4, you'll find the video on YouTube, is brainwashing, social engineering, social conditioning and how the media manipulate us. You can learn a lot of important lessons from that. Hypnosis Week 5, which was last week, is hypnotic induction techniques, how to actually hypnotise them. And in terms of what to do once the people are hypnotised, well, whether you want to do it for stage or entertainment, or you want to do it for therapeutic purposes and help people, you can get started at no charge by going to hypnosisweek.com and download my ebooks free of charge, my gift to you. Or you can go the next step, which will make you probably more knowledgeable than the majority of hypnotherapists on the planet, frankly, because what I teach goes way head and shoulders above what other people teach, okay? It cuts out all the bullshit and teaches you what works. But if you go on hypnosisweek.com and click on Hypnosis Offer of the Week, you can get my 12-hour video training set filmed at a live training event that's called What the Fuck Do You Know About Hypnosis? Gets direct to the point. If you're easily offended, fuck off and don't buy it. If you actually want the truth and want to be successful, then for the next week only, you can get that at a fraction of the normal price for less than $30, which is about £22 sterling. For Christ's sake, you'll get 10 or 20 times that amount of money from the first session you do using the techniques taught in that video set. But at midnight, next weekend, price goes back up, so this is your chance to do it now. Or you might be one of the lucky 3 people who wins free entry to the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. In fact, I'm going to announce that right now before we give you the wonderful, I like to call it the dynamite technique for every form of therapy session. We're going to announce the 3 winners who are getting free entry. If your name appears in a moment, if I should say your name, then when you see this video, you need to inbox me at facebook.com/Alex the Hypnotist. You need to inbox me, send me a message, and you need to send me your best email address, because I need an email address from you to set up your private online account for the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. So, drum roll on the desk. I was going to announce 1 winner, and I thought, you know what, I'll be kind, let's have 2. And then I went crazy, and I thought, you know what, let's have 3. And I got my daughter to help pick, and the 3 names we came out with at random, there are 2 men and 1 lady, okay? So we're going to announce a man, then the lady, then a man. So we have got David. I apologise, I don't know how to pronounce your second name. I think it's Zajac. Your second name is spelt Z-A-J-A-C. And your profile says David Zajac, and then in brackets, genius. You are winner number 1. Inbox me with your best email address and I'll set up your free membership. Number 2. The lady who has won is Liana Danilova. First name spelled L-I-A-N-A and second name spelled D-A-N-I-L-O-V-A. Congratulations. Again, if that's you, inbox me. Okay, give me your best email address so I can set up your membership. And finally, in no particular order, our 3rd winner is Roy Brownlow. Second name spelled B-R-O-W-N-L-O-W-E. So that's David Zajac, brackets genius, Liana Danilova and Roy Brownlow. Congratulations, all 3 of you have won lifetime membership to the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp and Passive Hypnosis Profit System. You'll be getting access to everything I've ever released over the past 25 years, and anything, the majority of whatever I release from here on in that gets added to the bootcamp, you will be getting no particular charge. Yes, indeed, David Zajak, you are a winner, as is Roy Brownlow, as is Liana Danilova. Inbox me your best email address, and when I'm back in the office tomorrow, I will set up your membership to the bootcamp. For those of you who were not lucky enough to win, thank you for sharing the video anyway. But if you shared the video and commented, I can tell this if you did it before this video because it shows me on Facebook and it's timelined. So don't message me and lie because I'll know immediately you're lying. But if you did share the video and comment, if you inbox me and say, oh, I shared the video and I commented, but I didn't win, can I have a massive discount? Then for those people who shared the video and commented prior to 10 o'clock tonight, Sunday the 31st of July 2016, if you inbox me, I will give you a secret code that will mean that you can get everything that's at hypnotismexposed.co.uk, which normally sells for $5,000, but at the moment has got 90% off, so you can get it for $497. If you shared the video and made a comment today, inbox me and I will send you a secret link, a secret code that will be valid for 24 hours only, that will enable you to get your hands on all of that for just 297 United States dollars, the lowest it's ever been, and it will never be offered at that price ever again. That's just to say thank you to the people who did share the video. Anyone else, you're getting 90% off anyway. And it's a massive bargain at $497 because it's like about 330 quid, but it's only for the next 48 hours at hypnotismexposed.co.uk. So I'm going to leave you with one technique that works for all therapy sessions with great success. It's wonderful for emotional issues, it's wonderful for phobias, it's wonderful for absolutely pretty much damned anything. It's genius. It's the SUDS trick, S-U-D-S, the subjective units of distress, subjective units of distress scale. But it's the physical element. So I'm going to have to kind of just sit back slightly because you need to be able to see my hands move around a bit. That's good. So I'm just going to give you this as an example. You can watch the video again as many times as you want and you apply common sense on how to use this, but let's imagine that we've got a client in front of me who has arrived at the session saying that they were, scared of spiders. I might say to them, just close your eyes down, take a few moments to imagine a time in the past when you've encountered spiders, take a few moments to get a sense and a feeling of that sensation as it was in the past when it bothered you. And I'm talking as though they've left it in the past already, when it used to bother you. The moment they arrive, I talk as though they have changed the moment they walk into my office. But anyway, I say, imagine it as it was in the past when it bothered you. Get a sense of a feeling of that, okay? When you get a sense of a feeling of that, nod your head. The moment they nod their head, I get them to open their eyes and I say, okay, John, if that's their name, I say, John, as you look at me, okay, with 0 down here on the bottom being nothing, no problem whatsoever, no issue, no emotion, no fear, no nothing down here. And all the way up here is number 10 at the top, which is the worst it ever was in the past. Really bad, like pulling your hair out, really, 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 really painful, really bad, really scary. How high up the scale would you give that memory and association in your mind now? What number is that? More often than not, they'll say 11 or 12, at the very least 9 or 10, but it will be a number that's quite high up. We then say, and now close your eyes down. And before we start today's proper hypnotherapy session to cement everything, to make sure that when you leave here, you're no longer bothered, worried or concerned as you once were in the past by the sight of spiders or the presence of them, so that you can leave here happy to see them and not be scared and be calm and relaxed and confident around them. We just need to prove that you're using your powers of intelligence, imagination and concentration effectively. And to prove this to you, what I'd like you to do is imagine in your mind's eye, and you go through some ritualistic process. There's tons of them in my books, tons of them on What the Fuck Do You Know About Hypnosis, which you can currently get at a tiny price at hypnosisweek.co.uk, or better still, invest in yourself and your future and go to hypnotismexposed.co.uk and get the full package. But you go through some kind of process, then to prove to them it's work, you get them to open their eyes and you go, so John, bearing in mind that 10 up here at the top was the worst it ever used to be in the past, like pulling your hair out really, really bad, really painful, and down here at the bottom is 0, nothing, gone completely. Whereabouts down here is the number right now? And they invariably give you a number that is way lower. Okay, and the moment they do, and if they don't, you just react as though that's perfectly normal, and you go through another ritualistic process until they do give you a lower number. Because the moment they give you a lower number, they will register it. This is a thought process I'm going to explain as it was at 10, 11 or 12. I've now said it's 6, 5, 4, 3, or perhaps even lower. And they'll think, you know what that means? It means as quickly as that, he or she, the hypnotist, suggested stuff to me, I visualised it, and it became reality because I don't feel as bad about that used to bother me in the past. So, it further shuts down the critical faculty, analytical area of the mind, and gives you access to the unconscious, subconscious mind, meaning arguably that they're in trance if you believe in that, they're hypnotised if you believe in that, and that what you say, the suggestions will go in and stay there and reprogram their personal neck-top computer. But it's a trick. Well, it is the way I do it. I guarantee they're going to give me a lower number because the first time, when you watch the video back, you'll see it again, but I'll do it again. The first time I'm ramping up the pain, I make them say a big number because I get them to open their eyes and I go, okay, John, so if down here is 0, nothing at all, but up here at the top, the worst it's ever been, it's like pulling your hair out really bad. Up here, how high is that number? And I'm kind of pointing above the number 10. So I'm not verbally saying, say a high number. And they do, invariably. After we've gone through the ritualistic process, I get them to open their eyes and I go, John, you know up here's number 10, the worst it ever was in the past, really bad, pulling out your hair, really, really bad. But down here's nothing. Gone completely. No problem whatsoever, feels really good. Where's that number down here right now? And I'm basically saying, say nothing. Gone completely, there's nothing there. The number's lower. They will not consciously realise, but they will say a lower number. Sometimes people will say nothing. Great, you've cured them, arguably. But if they believe you have, because suggestion is hypnosis, and hypnosis exists only in the mind of the believer. But as long as they give a lower number, that's leverage. Because then they can believe that that means you said something, they visualised it, it became reality, and their negative emotions became more positive. So they experienced a change as quick as that, which means they will truly believe in the work that you're then going to do with them over the next 30, 40, 45 minutes or whatever, which I would recommend is my complete mind therapy session for a few reasons, mainly because it's been road tested by thousands of therapists around the world, and they found it to work with everything from cocaine and heroin addictions and alcoholism on the one hand, through to helping people overcome rape trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, right through to the real money makers in the middle of smoking, cessation, weight loss, confidence boosting, phobia elimination and all that kind of stuff. It works for everything because that's the way I structured it to make life easy. It's got every element that could ever be needed in there, so it's super powerful on every level. And you get the complete scripts, the audios, the license to use the name, the logos that give you credibility, the certificate to stick on your wall so people see it and it triggers off the placebo effect. You get all that and a whole bunch of other stuff. In fact, you get absolutely every single training video, book, manual or course that I've ever released over the past 25 years. Along with all the business building tools, ready-made websites, professionally designed logos for your advertising, diplomas. It's a complete business in a box. It's a franchise without any franchise fees. You invest in yourself once and you profit for the rest of your life. And if you do what we say, you should be earning quite easily between £250 to £500 sterling, which is 400 to $800 per session with ease using our tried, tested and proven to work formulas and business plans that are contained within the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, which you can get at a massive 90% discount for the next 48 hours only, when you go to hypnotismexposed.co.uk. That's hypnotismexposed.co.uk. Invest in yourself. It's only $497 for the next 48 hours. Then it goes back up to $5,000. Even that's cheap for a ready-made business. If you can't afford that low, at least invest in yourself the price of a few cups of coffee and go to hypnosisweek.com, click on Hypnosis Offer of the Week and get the What the Fuck Do You Know About Hypnosis video set for less than $30, which is around £22 sterling, because in that package I do give you enough to get you started and put you head and shoulders above the majority of the competition out there. Because what I teach is very different, but it works. So with that in mind, congratulations again to our winners, David Zajac, Brackets Genius, Liana, Danny Lover and Roy Brownlow. Please inbox me your best email address to set up your accounts with, and when I get in the office tomorrow I will do that for you. Everyone else, thank you for watching this video. I must tell you, Lord, that next week, which is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, Sunday the 7th of August 2016, I will be travelling back from Edinburgh, because I'm going down to Edinburgh Festival. I'm very proud to say that one of my students, who I taught stage hypnosis to, is got a show opening there on Friday the 5th of August, running every night through the festival, up to and including Monday the 29th of August, so running from the 5th of August to the 29th of August. Simon Warner is presenting Simon Warner's Viva, that's V-I-V-A, Viva Hypnosis Show at the Zoo venues. The show is running at 8:50 p.m, 10 to 9 each evening, and there's 75-minute duration show, so it starts at 10 to 9, finishes at 10:05, which is kind of unheard of except for the massive A-list names at the festival to be given that kind of stage time. This is a hypnosis show with a different, there is dancers, there are live visual effects, lighting effects, there's a storyline. This is hypnosis the way it should be, rather than the cheesy shite from the 1970s. It's a family-friendly show. Well, it's recommended for ages 12 and above, and that's going on every night from the 5th to the 29th of August at Zoo venues in Edinburgh. I'm physically going to be down in Edinburgh from Thursday the 4th of August, this coming Thursday. I'm there on Thursday night. I'm there on Friday for the opening night. I'm there on Saturday the 6th. And I travel home on the 7th. So I will be back in time. Next week's hypnosisweek.com, which will be week 7, will take place at the usual time of 9 p.m, the normal time. We'll be back to normal, as per the details at hypnosisweek.com. So put that in your diary. If you can get to Edinburgh between Friday the 5th of August and the Monday the 29th, do pop along to Zoo venues and see Simon Warner's Viva Hypnosis. I'm back down there at the end of the run. I'll be there, as I say, at the beginning, and then I'll be going down again on Sunday the 28th of August, so I'll be there for the second to last night show, and I'll be there on the closing night, obviously, and for the wrap party, wherever that takes place, because hypnotic history is about to be made at Edinburgh Festival, and I'm so proud and delighted that it's one of my stage hypnosis students, Simon Warner, that's going to be doing that, along with his lovely wife, Michelle Warner, at one of the top-rated venues in Edinburgh every night of the festival. If you want to learn the exact same techniques that I taught to them, everything is inside the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. In fact, you'll see he's one of the teachers within that, which is available at the moment for the next 48 hours with 90% off at hypnotismexposed.co.uk, and I make a psychic prediction that Tyrone Power Reiki will be too tight to go to hypnosisweek.com and invest in his future. See, I mentioned his name, he wanted it mentioning, so I turned it into an advert. Laugh out loud. Thank you, everyone. If you joined this part way through, then do watch it from the beginning when it's ended, because you'll see there's some great techniques that genuinely work to help people be convinced that they will never smoke again when they leave your office. There's techniques in there that will help you convince people that they will maintain the correct type of lifestyle that will mean that they burn up more calories than they take in. There's techniques in there that you can use for anything: phobias, fears, addictions, the subjective units of distress scale trick. Watch the video back and you'll see how I'm non-verbally cueing